This May 24th, 2020, and today I'm going to talk about religion and my mental health struggles. I am a man of faith. I consider myself a progressive, a social gospel evangelical Christian who goes to a Presbyterian church. And my faith has helped me a lot with my mental illness. I have a long story of grew up really without a faith, and in Boy Scouts I became the Scout chaplain, and I started dragging my parents to church. And I belonged to I went to a Catholic church. I went to a Catholic high school, which I was kicked out of, and I started losing faith. And nothing can make you lose faith in a church by being ostracized for it by a Catholic church for behavior issues dealing with mental illness and not willing to help and not willing to try to make things any better. I left the Catholic Church completely after the police sex scandal. And in 2008, I wrote letters to the top 15 evangelical leaders, asking them how they could support policies that hurt the poor. And I have a sister channel, Voice Crying, when I talk about this. Rick Warren from the Saddleback Church, one of his pastors contacted me back, and I found Christ Presbyterian Church, and they know about my anxiety disorder. I talked to Pastor Glenn and Pastor Dale, and many of the deacons know. I mean, I was actually made a deacon for 3 years. But social anxiety kind of makes sometimes going to church very difficult, and I have what they call religiosity, OCD, mainly guilt and feeling that I'm not good enough, and that I'm such a sinner that God wouldn't save me. And I do struggle with sin, and I do struggle with things, and I sometimes get so anxious that I can't go to church, or I have to leave church early. But still, there's something in the idea of a loving God and a community that'll love you no matter what that has really helped me. And I remember this was back in 2009, I want to say, and I watched Jeremiah, the Turner Classic, the Turner Bible Classic movie, and I rode my bike along the lake, and as I was crossing back by my church, I heard a voice in my head, "Surrender to Babylon," and I realized that was God using, and I mean, it wasn't like a hallucination. I mean, I do believe that God does speak, sometimes through friends, sometimes through different ways, but this time I believe God was trying to tell me to not fight the mental illness. I mean, the more I struggle, the worse it will get, to accept that I have a mental illness, and I probably always will have this mental illness, but that He is with me in this, and that just like King Hezekiah, that if he surrendered to Babylon, like Jeremiah said, he and his family would be spared. They would be prisoners, and slaves, but they would be spared, but they didn't. And one of my favorite scriptures is 1 Peter 5:7. Cast all your cares to the Lord, for he cares for you. And be wide-eyed and alert, for your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, waiting for who he can devour. And if you are stuck with your anxieties and depressions and you don't give it up, it can lead you easy prey to sin, to things that can destroy you. Now, I'm not making this video to convert anyone. I mean, I do believe that having a church body and knowing that Jesus has your back no matter what helps, and knowing that there will be a time where the lion will lay down with the lamb, where there will be no violence, there will be no greed, there will be no hypocrisy, there will be no hatred. That basically it'll be a utopia led by Jesus. Knowing that, deep in my heart, it comforts me. But I still have these feelings of sin and feelings that I know I wouldn't forgive me, so why would God? But my church family, particularly Rich Henderson, Pastor Glenn Michael Durfer, and Dale Chapin have since retired. But Sharon Haney, Natalie Handy, Carter Baldwin, all these people that probably don't mean anything to you, but I'm shouting out to them. And so I'm thinking, if you're struggling with mental illness, and if you are interested in having a faith community, try. I mean, knowing that they pray for me in tough times is comfort. And I am so glad. I miss the Bible. I did the youth Bible study, youth group. I missed that because when the coronavirus, and I'm not a real Zoom person, so I don't like the benediction Zoom meetings after church. But I don't think I would be here. The three things that I think are keeping me alive during my bad days are my mom, my best friend Doc, and the gaming group, and my faith in the church. And so yeah, I just thought this Sunday I would talk about faith and mental illness. God bless and take care.